the movie Animal House, I do feel like it's a dated reference, right? That like Muncie is so much younger than I am, and so much younger than Jason is, and obviously younger than Sam is. So if I say, Muncie, Animal House, have you seen it? I expect the answer to be no, I have not. That's an old movie, correct?
I actually have seen parts of it because at Universal Studios, I worked there as a tour guide and it filmed there, part of it. So, like, I had to learn about it.
That's okay.
Yeah. So, but you're right. It's I would not have known what this movie is if it wasn't for
Right.
work.
It was Animal House is 1978.
Absolutely.
And even though it was one of those movies where every college guy ever has watched it, that's in the 80s and maybe 90s, and I'm like the last generation of people that still would watch and love that movie. Is that fair, Jay Stu?
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So like people dropping in, even Caddyshack references are really dated. Animal House is dated. Sam, have you seen Animal House?
Oh, absolutely. Many times.
Okay. So when I say, the famous Belushi line from that movie is what? What do you think the most famous Belushi line is?
Either what are the Pearl Harbor when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
That or food
Hell
fight.
no!
Right. That's probably the most famous spiel he does.
Yes, I think those are the two. First, he does the zit, which leads to the food fight.
Yeah,
yes.
Food fight. Yeah, great.
Well, it leads to a food fight. But I think was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
Yep, he got it. A little mixed up there.
Right. I think Jason Kidd dropped a similar line, only it wasn't scripted in a movie. Okay, let me paint the picture for people who missed it. Last night, Luka Dončić returned to Dallas, first time ever since he's a member of the LA Lakers. Right, it's a video tribute, and Luka, those didn't look like fake tears. It looked like he was getting emotional before the game. Here's Luka talking about that reception from the Dallas fans.
It was a little bit of both, happy and angry, but, it's nice to see some familiar faces here. I spent a lot of times with them. Like you said, it was a lot of emotions. When I woke up, I was tired. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't sleep much. I was excited about this game, and, I really appreciate the fans, the way they reacted to me.
Here is Luka talking about it being time to move on.
Everybody saw me the way I reacted to the video. All these fans, I really appreciate it, man. All the teammates I had, everybody had my back. I'm just happy, this guy, I love these fans. I love the city, but it's time to move on.
So, Luka promptly goes out and drops 42. They win the game, and humiliation galore. And then after the game, Jason Kidd, and this is one of the all-timers. This is Jason Kidd after the game, before the game, and take a listen to the trade that he compares it to.
This is a business. It happens, right? Trades happen. This won't be the last trade. Someone compared it to Babe Ruth, which is kind of cool.
Okay. Look, I don't profess to be a baseball historian. I don't know everything about past trades. Matter of fact, what's the baseball writer? His first name's Jason. He used to work for ESPN.
Stark?
Jason Stark wrote a book about the worst trades in baseball history, right? I don't know if you guys have ever read it. There's a million terrible trades in the history of Major League Baseball. But the worst trade in the history of the sport, without any question, is when Babe Ruth was traded from the Red Sox to the Yankees. Not only did Babe Ruth go on to become the most prodigious home run hitter in the history of the sport, win World Series after World Series after World Series, and is still the most famous name in the history of the sport, the Boston Red Sox went on to not win a World Series for 86 years, and it was called the Curse of the Bambino, which is Italian for it was like an Italian nickname for Babe Ruth. Right? Jason Kidd coaches for the Dallas Mavericks. If we're analogizing this as, hey, it's like the Babe Ruth trade, and that's cool. In this episode, the Dallas Mavericks are playing the part of the Boston Red Sox. The New York Yankees, the LA Lakers, are playing the part of the New York Yankees. In other words, if you're comparing the trade to the Babe Ruth trade, your boss pulled off the worst trade in the history of basketball. Jason Stewart, am I wrong for that as the breakdown of the misused analogy?
True, because if you want to take a look at this analogy,
Yes.
Jason Kidd represents the Red Sox in the baseball analogy. So nothing's cool about the trade. And if
there's
right,
no Red Sox fan ever. It's like, hey, Smitty, remember when we traded Babe Ruth? A great trade, right?
Correct.
That was awesome. That
So
was
that's
awesome.
cool, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
maybe they got a return in the trade where one of the guys had like a good month of April and been like, man, we got away with murder on this trade. And then 86 years later, you know.
Yeah.
That guy is long dead and buried.
Yeah. Yeah, the Babe Ruth trade is not cool. There's nothing cool about it unless you're a Yankee fan. I mean, this is Jason Kidd saying, that boat, listen, I got a boat. You know what it reminds me of? Reminds me of the Titanic. Let's go take a cruise in this boat. It reminds me of the Titanic. You know?
They're saying that this is like the Titanic.
They're saying this boat's like the Titanic. I don't know. It actually sounds a little bit like Trump saying that stuff. Hey, they're saying I'm the greatest president ever. I don't like who says that. Like I'm hearing it. This is the things I'm hearing. I'm hearing that blimp trip reminds him like we should go take this blimp trip over Europe. People are saying it reminds him of the Hindenburg. I can't wait. That's cool. Play it for me one more time. It's so bad. It's really good.
This is a business. It happens, right? Trades happen. This won't be the last trade. Some are comparing it to Babe Ruth, which is kind of cool.
Some are saying it's like Babe Ruth. Hey, that's kind of cool. Jason, you know, if they compare it to Babe Ruth, it's the opposite of cool for the Dallas Mavericks, who are your employer. Yeah. Hey, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, listen, Cal Berkeley is the number one public school in America. Jay Kidd, that doesn't reflect greatly upon your knowledge of or use of sports history in an analogy.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what this reminds me of? Huh? This reminds me, like pick biggest disasters ever in sports. Hey, they're saying this is like the Herschel Walker trade. That's what they're saying. Yeah. Only in this case, you're the Minnesota Vikings, dude. I mean, you're the Dallas. You're the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, go ahead.
My favorite movie of all time is Boogie Nights. And
Ooh.
As Dirk Diggler said, remember, he was talking about all the people that wanted to attack him. And he's like, you know, just like when Napoleon was king of the Roman Empire, you know, everybody wanted to defeat him. Like, every part of that sentence is wrong.
Right. It's just like, as I stated, that was was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no. Right. The first time Belushi reared his head as Jason Kidd. You know, people are saying, well, like, what's the worst sports radio show ever? You know, people are saying my show just like that one. That's why when people say, hey, like, you're like Cowherd, like, oh, really? The most successful, Cowherd and Dan Patrick, most successful sports radio shows going on right now in America? By all means, compare us. Yeah, here's Belushi, what I think is the most famous line from Animal House.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
Hell no!
Forget it, he's rolling.
Forget it, he's rolling. You think somebody was sitting there behind him, like whoever what do they call the sports the PR guy for the Mavs? And he's sitting there. Somebody elbowed the PR guy for the Mavs. Like,
Right.
yeah, that one didn't make any sense at all. He's like, don't worry, he's on a roll. Just let him finish. right? Let him finish. Let Russ cook, if you will.